We're delighted. We've been working with Samsung on their Bluetooth headset since 2014. And this deal builds on that long-term relationship we've had with Samsung and takes us onto a range of their smartphones within their Galaxy series. And so, we're delighted to be working with them at this time and expanding our product base within the Samsung family of products.
How is your barrier nanotech coating applied to products like smartphones? And what was it actually going to do?
We deploy our manufacturing machines. They are large plasma machines that go into our customers' production lines. And so we become part of our customers' production capability. And what we do is our customers' products effectively go into our machines. They provide a nanoscale coating that provides protection from liquid damage and corrosion. So we're putting down a coating that is 10 to 20 times thinner than any traditional coatings that our industry have used historically to provide this level of protection. By doing that, we're providing our customers with an incredible level of flexibility in terms of the product offering. And I think the critical thing about P2i is we have a complete solution portfolio that enables our customers to provide, whether it's IPX2, which is our splashes and spills technology, which is called splash proof, through to our barrier coating that we've deployed with a number of manufacturers, including Samsung, which is an IPX4 technology, all the way through to IPX8 Plus, which is effectively beyond waterproof, which is our dunkable technology. And it's by taking those different technologies that we've got, we've applied it to 500 million plus mobile phones to date. We've got 20 billion plus components that we've treated. And what we do is we provide our customers with that level of protection around the lifetime of their device that they're selling onto their customers. So it becomes a very sustainable product. And one of the critical things that our customers like about our ultra thin nanotechnology is the fact that it becomes reworkable. So if the product comes back for repair from the customer, they're able to take that product, rework it. Because of our coating being so thin, so flexible, we're able to work with our manufacturers to basically create a fully sustainable product life cycle.
Is there any other smartphone manufacturer around the world that you're working with?
We're working with a range of manufacturers. So as you can imagine, a lot of these relationships are highly confidential. But I can say we are working with 9 out of the top 10 consumer electronics companies today.
We're hearing that the future post-COVID-19 may mean that supply chains are going to get shorter, that perhaps these globalized just-in-time supply chains are going to have to be reformed because they've suffered such a shock and people don't want to rely on such fragility in future. Given that your machinery is embedded in manufacturing plants, are you immune to this?
Well, what we're seeing on this is our customers are definitely de-risking this. So we are seeing a broadening of our customers' factories to beyond just China. We are seeing an extensive pickup in Vietnam of new factories being deployed. So subcontract manufacturers are moving to a much broader geographical spread, so that effectively a lot of this was being driven through in part over the last 12, 18 months through some of the US-China trade war. So there's a lot of the big organizations were de-risking their supply chains anyway. And so effectively some of that had already kicked off. And I think the COVID-19 piece has just really woken everyone up to just how interconnected the world is and the supply chains. And so for P2i, we basically had a real wake-up call back in January because we were really at the heart of this COVID-19 piece back when Wuhan was closed down. We had one of our main factories was based in Wuhan. So we actually had a number of people stuck inside Wuhan that we were able to get back to the UK on those first flights that came back out of Wuhan. We've been able to obviously see and live through what happened in China, getting our staff back to work in China. And China, of course, now sort of 8 to 9 weeks on from that starting point, is pretty much back to operating from an industrial set back to normal. So we are seeing most of our factories, whilst they might not all be operating at 100% of the levels they were beforehand, they are very much all open and ready for business. So we are seeing, I guess, good news, I think, in terms of what happened in China back in January. They went through the peak and they've come back on. So I do see life at the end of what we're currently seeing here in the West.
How did your company get started? It's very refreshing to hear that a British technology company is proving so vital to the operations of consumer electronics firms from around the globe.
Yeah, the P2i had a very interesting start. So our CTO, Dr. Stephen Coulson, was doing his PhD at Durham University. So a great British success story. Whilst he was doing his PhD, he had the eureka moment and invented the fundamental technology that sits underneath P2i. His lab at Durham University was being sponsored by the UK Ministry of Defence at that point. Stephen then spent the next 5 years working inside the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, investigating liquid repellency and nano coatings, initially to protect soldiers' uniforms from chemical and biological weapon attacks. This was back in the time between the two Gulf Wars. And then subsequent to that, after 5 years of managing that program, Stephen Coulson founded P2i back in 2004 to commercialize that plasma technology that he'd invented. And so we then have gone on to take that technology initially through a number of different product groups. And so we initially had a focus in and around some of the clothing applications that did come out of the military use for the technology. And then subsequent to that, we've really built on the technology in terms of how it protects electronics from exposure to liquid damage and corrosion. And so effectively, that's where we've really found the heart of our technology in terms of its best use case. And so today we are applying the technology to a number of different areas, as well as mobile phones. We're on Bluetooth headsets. We've got 2/3 market share in the hearing aid sector as well. And we've also got a number of point of sale devices in the Internet of Things area. We are focusing at the moment around autonomous vehicles. We've got a number of customers in the drone space as well as the next generation drone space. And so we're seeing a massive amount of potential for our technology, because effectively what we do is we apply our technology to a printed circuit board. And if you can imagine, a printed circuit board is inside any of your IoT type devices, whether that would be something sat in a field from an agricultural perspective, collecting data, through to smart cities, etc. Anywhere where there's a PCB, there is a need to have that protected from liquid damage and corrosion. If you can imagine just high humidity environments, rain, etc. And so what we do is we provide that technology, and it enables our customers to utilize that. So we see benefits in both automotive, autonomous vehicles, the electric vehicles, and all of those areas that are growing rapidly right now. And 5G is just giving us a huge opportunity in terms of the pure number of PCBs that are going into almost every product in the consumer electronics space, both from a commercial perspective and actually also from an industrial perspective.
I'm just wondering if the original application of this product on clothing, I'm just thinking during this crisis time in hospitals, whether PPE equipment would be a suitable product for these to be applied to.
Well, I think it's a very good question. It's one that we are challenging ourselves on at the moment. I think what excites me is it's been fantastic to see the way that UK PLC has pulled together with government in its time of need. You know, we're currently working some projects up in the background to see if we can assist in some of the PPE issues around helping treat maybe some of the equipment that is currently available that doesn't meet specification. And so we are seeing some opportunities to bring up some of the maybe lower quality equipment that's out there, that by treating it with our technology, we can bring it up to the specification that's required, and again, increase the amount of PPE that would be available to our NHS. But for me, I guess what this does, it really bodes well for me that what we might be possible under a new post-Brexit industrial strategy for the country, I really see the value of how we're seeing manufacturers in the UK working with government to turn their production lines around to create additional ventilators and additional inputs to really help the NHS at this time of need.